I just spent the past month and a half shooting people in my grade with a water gun. And this goes back to last April, around the middle. I think it was around April 10th ish, where in my comp class, I found out that there was senior assassin being held on in my grade. And I pulled out a crisp $10 bill, which was the entry fee, out of my wallet, and I wrapped it in a piece of notebook paper and expected nothing of it. And then that week, it started the next week. That week, I left for France for a family trip, and I would be gone for half of the round. And it was a Wednesday to Wednesday trip, and I found out on Sunday during my trip who I had. I had no idea who he was. I'd never heard of him before. But the next day on Monday, a lot of people were super mad that I was out of the country because they thought it was unfair somehow, even though I had less time to get my target out too. That my assassin wasn't able to get me, and I thought the people texting me either were my assassin or knew my assassin, and that's actually correct. They did know who my assassin was, um, because later that week, I found out who my assassin was because she was talking about how to get me, and my friend overheard. So I, on Wednesday, that was the day I was going to be coming back. I told my friend so there was a concert that day or that night, and I told them that I probably wasn't going to be able to make it because I missed my flight. And so I was going to be coming back around 11 p.m. and someone from my group told my assassin that I was going to be getting home at that time. And that's really bad because I genuinely had like no way to just like get around that. So if she was at my house, I was going to get out. So I didn't know how to do anything different, so I just pretty much accepted that I was going to get out. And when I got home around 1 a.m., I did not see her at all. And it turns out that she actually got the cops called on her, which is super embarrassing. And it's because my neighbors saw some person waiting outside of my house when they knew that I was out of town. And I live in a nicer neighborhood, so it makes sense, but it's still funny that she got the cops called on her because of that. She got a pass because of that, so she didn't really need to get me out for the rest of the week. But I still needed to get my person out, so the next day I went to his house right after school, and I camped it for about an hour. And he came home from the gym, and he just let me get him out. So that was super easy. Round one down the drain. In round two, it was a lot harder. I had someone who I had been friends with for a while, more like acquaintances. I knew him. I went to elementary school with him, and I used to be good friends with him. But he was in theater. I'm in choir, so I was able to get the schedule for theater pretty easily. And I found out that it ended around 8 p.m. So I camped the school at 8 p.m. looking for his car. And on Monday, I just didn't see him leaving at all. This round was especially hard because on Thursday, I was getting my wisdom teeth removed. So I had half the amount of time again, just like the last round. And I was super stressed out. I tried the same thing again on Tuesday, but I had two more people helping me. So two friends trying to see all the exits to see which way he would leave from. And around 9 p.m., which is an hour after what it's supposed to be ended, we went right outside of the auditorium to like group up, and my target spotted the three of us waiting there. So he definitely knew that I had him. And he said, well, we're going to be here until 11 p.m. It's painting for our play on Thursday and Friday. So you can you might as well help us. And I ended up helping them paint the set for the skit, the play, on Thursday and Friday. It was a Little Women skit. I didn't go to it, but I heard that it was pretty good. So I helped them paint the set, and around 10:40, I was done. I wanted to leave, so I got all my stuff and I left. I told them I was going home, and that I said I was going to give them my location so they knew that I wasn't going to camp their house. I didn't give them my location, and I went to his house, And I was there at 11, waiting for 40 minutes when I saw him pull into his driveway. And he got out of his car and booked it onto the inside just as like a precaution. He had no idea that I was there, but he just booked it just because he does that for the game. And so I wasn't able to get him. I went inside of his garage to try to chase him, and I stepped on something and it made a huge sound. He opened his door that goes into the garage, saw me there, screamed, and then closed the door again, and I wasn't able to get him. So I went home. I tried to get him the next morning. That didn't work, and that was like all I could do because I was getting my wisdom teeth removed the next day. On Friday, though, he texted me and he was like, I am not going to get my person out. I'll let you get me out for $10. And then he said it was for free. After like just talking, he was like, hear me out. Let's just do it for free. Because I told him if I wasn't going to get him out, that I was going to let my assassin get me out. And he preferred that I got him than my assassin got him. And so round 3 came. I had some guy who's in track, and he like super unfortunate person to get. He was like genuinely one of the quickest people in our school. On Monday that week, I tried to wait outside of the parking lot doors for when he would, inside the parking lot doors into the school to try to get him right before he got into the school. And I saw him, but the door opened the wrong way, if that makes sense. So it was separating us, and I wasn't able to get him because the door was in the way. And he booked it. I tried to chase him, but I'm just not in track. I'm the choir kid. I can't keep up with that. And he was able to beat me around the school into the front doors. So he went off to the side. And then he was able to get it. He dropped his stuff while he was running, and he was able to get it back. And super unfortunate. I really wanted to get him out there. It was a really good plan, but I just barely wasn't able to get him. And I basically had no other plans besides for Friday when he would be at a track meet, and I could get him right after he got off the bus, because the safe zones are inside of the school during practices and during work, and then in the parking lots for all those if you're wearing floaties and goggles. So he hadn't been wearing his floaties or goggles all week, so I thought it was going to be easy to get him. So I was going to wait for when he went from the school into the bus. And I just he didn't even go to the track meet. So I was like looking all around the school for him, and he just didn't even go to the track meet. So super sad. And for the rest of the week, I was like, nah, I'm just not going to be able to get him. I pretty much gave up. And on Saturday, I noticed that he hadn't gotten his person out. So I texted him and I said, I'll give you $30 if you let me get you out, because you haven't gotten your person. So you can either get out or get paid to get out. And he was like, I'll do it for 50. I did not want to do it for 50. I didn't want to win that bad. And he texted back around an hour later. He lowered it down to 40. And then we compromised at 35. So I got him out, and after giving up 2 weeks in a row, I'm in round 4. And this week I got someone in soccer, and I knew the schedule. I found the schedule out, so that was good, and I knew where he lived. So I was gonna try to get him out after after practice on Wednesday. Okay, so he was walking back to his car. I was waiting kind of close to his car in my friend's car, because he knew what my car looked like, because I tried to get him out that morning. I missed him. It was kind of unfortunate, but I was waiting, and there were some people also there trying to get someone else out for the senior assassin, and they ended up not being able to do that because they were trying to get him after a game. So he was going to be coming off of the bus going into his car. The game didn't happen because of the weather, though. So there were these 2 random people trying to get someone else out, and they were being so suspicious in front of my target, and that made my target go all the way around the school and have his friend pick him up and chauffeur him into his own car. So I wasn't able to get him out that night. But the next morning, I had a better hiding spot in front of his house. And after an hour of waiting outside, in super cold weather, by the way, it was May. It should be warm in May. I was wearing a short sleeve shirt and long pants, but I was like shivering. It was crazy. But he walked out of his house right into his car. Not into his car. I got him out right before he went into his car. So that was good. Then round 5 came, and now I have someone who works at Taco Bell, and that is all they do. That's all I know about them. I found the car they drove, and so I was going to try to get him out going into work, but he saw my car. I wasn't even in the front seat. I don't know how he knew it was my car, but he had his coworker come outside and block my car door so he could walk inside, and he got away because I couldn't get him. And later, his shift that day ended at 3 a.m. the next morning. So my plan was I'm going to go to sleep right now. I'm going to go home, go to sleep right now at 8 p.m., wake up at 2, and then get to his work at 2:45 and get him out when he's on his way to his car. And that almost would have worked, but I drove there, got there at 2:45, and I found out the next day he got done with work super early. He was done at work around 1:30 a.m. And I just lost all motivation for the game. And it carries me until Saturday that week, where I tried one last time. I was at a wedding, and so I was coming back, and he was supposed to end work right when I got back from the wedding. So I went to the Taco Bell, checked around. His car was at his home. So he hadn't gotten his person out so far in the week. So I was going to try to catch him on his way to get his target out. So I was driving between his target's house and my target's house for like an hour. When I saw him pull out of his driveway, and I followed him to one of his friends' house. It was like a little get together that they were all doing. So I got in my car, ran over to him, and he booked it into the trees. We were chasing for a while in the trees, but he ended up losing me because it was so dark out. I tripped on some person's bench in their backyard. And so he got away. I went back to his car where he was at because maybe he was at it. But his friend was there on the phone call with him. And I told his friend to tell my target if he let me get him out right now, I would give him $50. And so he took that. I got him out, and somehow I am on round 6 now. So there's 4 people left now. I found the list of who everybody had because the teacher that runs it in that classroom, one of the organizers, one of the kids had left their account signed in. And so I found the list of everybody on that computer. And so I was able to find who my target had. I teamed up with him because there's 4 people left. He had my assassin, so I would just piggyback him around for the rest of the day or for the rest of the week. It was half as much time. So instead of going from Monday to Saturday, it just went from Monday to Wednesday. And he had work that day, so I was gonna try to see if his target would get him out, his assassin would get them out when he's walking to work. So I was camping his work. His target was there, but she didn't get out of. My target was there, but she didn't get out of her car. And I didn't know this at the time, but she was actually on the phone with my assassin. I was 3 minutes away from getting out. It was so bad. I could have gotten out. After that day, though, we realized that everybody would just be piggybacking each other for the rest of the week. And so it was basically a stalemate. So we split the $1,200 cash prize into $300. And so I spent $10 on the entry fee, $20 on my 2 water guns, and another $85 for the 2 people that I bought out. So I got $300 for spending $115. I don't know if that was worth it, especially with the amount of time that I put into it. But it was a lot of fun. And if I could do it again, I definitely would. But yeah, thank you. Bye.